Yo,
Oh, what's good? What's good? What's good, Panther Nation? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands, live and in living color. I am your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony,
and I'm your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
and today we are going to discuss a wide range of topics. But before we do, CJ, what's good with your cousin? How you feeling today?
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I ain't gonna lie. I had a late night last night, so I'm kind of sleepy. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't too long woke up.
you went out in them streets, were you?
No, I can't lie. I woke up and I looked at my wife. I said, "What time is it?" She was like 10 something. I was like, "Oh crap!"
Oh
Just
man.
I could have swore it
Oh
was
God.
earlier than that. I swear, but
I
yeah,
don't
but
know
I'm
for
good, man.
For some reason, I've been getting up kind of early, well, a little earlier in the morning this week than I usually do.
Hmm.
So I've been falling asleep a little earlier. So I'm using that time now, man, to get back into my I guess you could say lifting exercise, mainly stretching. Stretching and build my strength back up on my left side, that kind of stuff. So hey, just
Hmm.
try and do everything I can possibly do to not feel old. You feel me?
I think you just old and full of gas. That's why you up early.
Damn. Wow.
Hmm.
On live, you gonna say that? That's how you feel?
On live,
All right.
on
Oh,
live.
okay. All
So we
right, cool.
cousins. It's all good. You know I love you.
It's, hey, it's all good, my boy. It's all good. So let's see. All right. Well, we got two people in here right now, huh? Three. So we go ahead and get started.
On you, player.
Well, listen, we're gonna kick it off with this first segment. Something I came up with today, and I thought it was fitting. So I'm gonna call this segment "Hot Topic." All right, and
Original.
this, yeah, the hot topic is Scott Fitterer on the hot seat. Now I
Okay.
posed that question. I asked that question because that seems to be the topic on Twitter this week. He had a press conference and he made a comment about the Matt Rule era one night. He was asked, have they moved on from the Matt Rule era of draft picks? And I got a small clip here that I want to play, and this is what he had to say.
Y'all have moved. Speaking of kind of moving on to change schemes and so on, it seems like you've moved on from a number of Matt Rule era draft picks. Is that fair? And
There are draft picks. We're all in this together.
I'm sorry,
Of the thing, we're not going to focus
my
on who was
bad.
drafted, how they got here. It's all about who can help us right now. But everyone that's in the building, and it's unfair to Matt to say that. So we all own that.
Okay.
So CJ, I had my question to you would be is, do you think Scott Fitter was truthful in his response to the reporter?
Well, yeah, I think he's about truthful as he could be. They were their draft pick. You know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
now we all know have heard that Matt Rule had the final say, as far as the roster goes. But
right,
yeah, I mean, when we talking about putting, Scott Fitter on the hot seat, he can't be completely absolved from any blame for the picks that they did during when Matt Rule was here. So
right.
he's not completely innocent of all of that just because Matt Rule is gone and he's still here. But I think he was as honest as he could be. So yeah.
Well, okay, so I mean, I get it, and to me, it was admirable that he took that stance. In my heart of hearts, do I really believe that that's how he truly felt? No, and I say that because we all know that everything began and ended with Matt Rule. He let it be known, he was hired before Scott Fitterer, and he played a part in bringing Scott Fitterer on board, right? And it was known that the final decisions would rest with him.
Mhm.
Whether a lot of people agree with it or not, that's how it was. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but when you look at the turmoil that was caused in the organization, the draft picks that made you scratch your head and be like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that one. I definitely don't know about that. Oh, his wife picked that one. I don't think that was a good
True.
look. Like, yeah. So with Chuba, the draft pick of Thomas Fletcher, the long snapper from Alabama. Like there were
I was
draft
stupid.
picks that made you like scratch your head. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
when you look at it, well, when I look at it, I often wonder how much of that did Scott Fitterer have a hand in. You know what I'm saying? Like, was the
Mhm.
conversation really 50-50? Was it really a collaborative, type of thing?
Effort.
Or was
Yeah.
it more just, I'm going to state my piece, but I'm going to go ahead and let Scott, I'm going to go ahead and let Matt rule since he is the final say, has the final say. Just go ahead and let him do his thing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I just, that whole situation was kind of suspect to me. And I like you said, I think he answered. I think he answered it the best way that he possibly could. Now,
Yeah.
whether he was really truthful, I don't know. That I don't know about
Yeah.
that one.
Well, I
I
mean,
can't agree with that.
yeah, well, you gotta think about it like this. He's a professional, okay? He's up there in a
Right,
billion-dollar organization. Cameras in his face every time he gets to take a breath. So he's got to keep it smooth. He's got to keep it professional. He can't get up there and say exactly what he really feels. I mean, he could. He really could.
right,
There would be a lot of people out here in this world that would be up for it, and they'll probably be like, "Oh, that's Fitty right there. That's my GM." But that's just not how this works. He's gonna get up there, he's gonna take questions, he's gonna give the response to the best of his abilities, and he's gonna keep it pimping. You know what I mean? He's gonna keep
yeah,
it professional, and he's gonna move on. That's just what happens. All we can do is assume. You know, we like I said, Matt Rule had the final say on roster decisions, but in my heart of hearts, I'm kind of with you. you know, was it like 70% Rule, 30% Fitterer? We'll never
right.
know. He'll probably never
That's what
tell
it
us.
feels like.
That's what it kind of feels like. But like I was saying,
Yeah,
he's not completely, not at fault for any of this. But but yeah, I mean, hey, that man said what he got to say, and he's trying to move on. He got he got a team to run. He got more players that he got to evaluate, try to get in here. They said that they were still weren't done. I think they're still looking for some more defensive line depth from the interview before this, I believe. But yeah,
right, right.
he trying to run the organization. That man is like, all right, let me answer these questions and get the hell out of here. I got stuff to do. So yeah.
So do you think? I guess the main thing I'm really struggling with is like I'm
Mhm,
trying to understand why do a lot of people feel like he's on the hot seat? Like when you think about it, if you're not the final, if you don't have the final say, right? If you're
mhm,
not the final decision maker, a lot of the responsibility or the majority of responsibility don't rest with you. You know what I
mhm,
mean? Like I
mhm,
don't think you should be held to a no, I don't want to say higher standard, but I don't think that you should be held to the point to where your job is in jeopardy, as some people are saying or suggesting. In my
mhm,
opinion, I don't think he's on the hot seat. I think right now this is like the first year that Scott Fitterer that has the opportunity to operate as as a GM. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
I don't think he
Yeah,
has anyone that he has to answer to besides David Tepper. Okay.
true.
So I think there's a lot more collaboration between him and Frank Wright. I think he has a lot more say so than what he did before. So I think with this draft and going forward, I think this will be like the litmus test for him
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
all the decisions that are made, because everything will fall up under him. He will be the ultimate decision maker. You know what I mean?
Man. Hey, Tony, look who we got in the building here. Good old Samsonite.
What Crom, what's good with
Yeah.
your cousin?
Look, Bill Belichick's nephew himself. Now that's our cousin.
Yeah.
Our
For
resident
real.
Patriot fan.
For
What's good,
real.
man?
For real. Hater
All right.
extraordinaire.
Yeah. He said any new CEO will clean house, bring in the new with little up old yeah. With little up the old left, with little of the old left. It's just business, whether the NFL or any other corporation. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And kind of like you said now, everybody's like, "Oh, this is a bad look." We're wasting these draft picks and stuff like that. But I think I got caught up with a lot of Panther Nation in thinking that this wasn't going to be as much of a rebuild as it's turning out to be. Okay,
Right.
I thought we were going to take a lot of the pieces that we already had. We're going to take them, put them in place, and we were going to just kind of not take off and run away with anything, but I kind of
Right.
thought that we were going to be a little bit quicker out of the gate, than it seems that we are now. But again, a swift kick in the head always do that to you. It'll bring you back down to earth, and I think that's what a lot of us have kind of had. Look, a slight reset, this preseason.
Right.
I think we gotta get the expectations back down just a little bit. I still think that this team is still poised to potentially make a run at the division. Now that hasn't
Yeah.
hasn't changed
I
for
agree
me.
with you.
But with the roster, it's like, okay, cool. Well, you know what? If that doesn't happen this year, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we
Yeah, I
we
agree
we
with
we
you.
are rebuilding, to a certain extent. And like Kenneth said, it's a business, any corporation. You and not saying that, it's lessening the worth of any of these guys that were here that are not here now. But you got a new regime coming in, new coach, and new schemes, new ways they want to do stuff. And like they keep saying, people just didn't fit. You know,
Right.
it,
Right.
it, it,
Well,
it it's what it is.
that's what any team. That's what any team that's bringing in new head coach, new offense coordinators, or new defense coordinators, what have you. You want the
Hmm.
players or the type of players that fit your scheme. If if a roster consisted of a lot of players that doesn't match the type of players that you need for your scheme, offensively or defensively, then you're
Hmm.
going to get rid of those players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there is nothing that says that you have to keep the old regime players just because they
Hmm.
drafted them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because what
But
if Frank Wright was in charge of the draft last year? Would those players that got drafted in 2022 even been drafted? Probably
exactly,
not.
probably
You
not.
know, so there's always going to be change. Some people are worth keeping. Some people you have to let go. That's just the way it
Yeah.
is. That's just the
Jay
way
Ishii said
Jay
we've been
Ishmael.
ignoring the rebuild. It's why I never agree that we rebuild till it's done right. Well, you know what? Hey, now's the
Nope.
opportunity. Hopefully it's done right now.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah,
they they
definitely.
they get their stuff together and get it right. But yeah, man, it's yeah. But to answer your question that you did you ask, was he on the hot seat?
Yeah, yeah. Do
Okay.
you consider him to be on the hot seat? I don't. What you think?
No, I don't either. And I think a lot of that has been sparked, especially after after the Patriots picked up Matt Corral. And when I tell you I'm so tired of hearing this crap about the Panthers got fleeced and Bill
Oh my
Belichick got
God!
one over with us, keep hearing stuff. Well, what happens is if you trade something to somebody and then they end up with both of them, they got over on you. Well, you know what? In this case, they can have Matt Corral. You know,
Thank you.
I
Thank
don't.
you.
Okay, and I always say this, and when I say this, I'm about to start talking shit about somebody. But no offense to Matt Corral. Okay, no offense to Matt Corral. He
Yeah.
didn't look good before he got hurt last year. He didn't look good this preseason. That one game where he missed about 6 wide open receivers, that was enough for me.
Yeah.
That
In
that
this
was that
last
was enough for
preseason,
me.
yeah, throwing behind the receivers, not putting the ball in the
I
proper place, not stepping into his throws.
Thank
It
you.
was
Thank
like
you,
more
Jay Issue.
more more like he was guiding the ball instead of just throwing the ball. They had like Matt came and showed
I,
out.
thank
Exactly.
you.
Exactly. I
Thank
detect
you.
no lies.
If Matt Corral would have came in here and balled out, and I'd be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Let Andy Dalton ass go, and then we'll keep Matt.
Thank
I,
you. And
you, you
listen,
know,
that's what a lot of us was hoping. That's what a lot of
yeah.
us was hoping. We was like, okay, he's finally healthy, foot
Mm-hmm.
feeling good. He didn't get the opportunity. We kind of we were mad at the old regime because how they used
Mm-hmm.
him in the preseason last year that eventually caused him to get hurt. Now you done had a
Mm-hmm.
whole off season to study, to listen, to get better health wise, and then you
Yep.
come out in this preseason. I mean, there was one drive. I think it was in the last preseason game where he had an okay drive, but
Mm,
overall, on a consistent basis, like bruh, nah.
yeah.
And anybody I tell you something else. Anybody that thinks that he's going to end up going to England and he's going to end up being the backup to Matt Jones over Bailey Zappi, they crazy for thinking that as well. Okay, they they
I'm gonna
they
have to
really
agree.
are.
I'm
They
gonna
really
have to
are.
agree, because to be honest with you, if they would have if they were intent on keeping 3 quarterbacks, and they would have claimed Bailey Zappi and let Corral go, and he still would have ended up in New England, I would have been happy with that. But I don't think that they are hell bent on having 3 quarterbacks, and at the same time, that's a roster spot that he's taking up. We can run with 2 quarterbacks. It's
Yeah,
not like it's never been done before. We can run with two
yeah.
quarterbacks, and that's another spot that somebody else can come in and potentially help, our team.
I'm sorry, Kenneth ain't got no sense, man.
I
Kenneth ain't
caught
got
one of
no
Corral's
sense.
passes here in Florida. That's how much he overthrows people. Hey, that's how he was looking.
Hey, that's
That's definitely
exactly
how he was
how.
looking.
Listen, man, and listen. I just that whole situation is, and I have to admit, I was a Matt Corral fan coming out of college. I didn't think he was a
Mhm.
first round draft pick, just like I didn't think any of those guys was worth first round consideration, but Kenny Pickett. Okay, so let me
Yeah.
be clear on that. But I thought, and I felt like a third round selection, value wise, that would be a good spot for him. Value. I
Yeah.
thought the value was excellent. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought he was going to be able to show a little more than what he did. Now, like I said, excuse me. Granted, he got hurt in the preseason last year. That's a wash. All right. So this is
Mhm.
like his red shirt freshman year.
Yeah.
But it seemed like even with that year off, you still digressed. In my opinion, you look
Mhm.
better throwing the ball in practice and stuff than you did in the real game. That I know this. I'm not gonna go off on this tangent because this is gonna stretch into another topic we could talk about for another day. But all I would say is, just because certain players look good in practice, that doesn't always mean it's gonna translate to the game. I'm gonna
Yeah.
leave it right
It's
there
true.
because I
Hey.
know we're gonna end up touching on it one day soon, and I want to
Mhm.
reserve the right. I
Yeah.
want to reserve the right to cross examine anybody that's gonna say what I know they're gonna say.
But it's wild though. I was reading a comment on another page, and somebody said that Corral looked just as good, or him and Bryce Young looked about the same in preseason. And you know
Uh-huh.
me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really I don't comment too much unless you know I feel kind of triggered by one of the comments, and that one kind of got me because I was like, what team have you been watching? What preseason games have you been watching where you came to the conclusion, you put your mouth together, you made your lips form to say that Bryce Young and Matt Corral looked about the same in preseason? I, hey, I, you know what?
Yeah.
I wish I'd have uploaded that sound clip of Gunna song and be like, "Fuck you mean?" You know that's what I wanted to tell him. I'm just like really, like
Oh God.
what games were you watching? So, but
Oh man.
that's the type. To me, I put it like this: the only way New England fleeced us, you know, in
Right.
this whole situation is if Matt Corral goes up there, Mac Jones gets hurt, Matt Corral plays, leads them to the Super Bowl, and beats us in the Super Bowl.
Right.
To me,
Right.
and that's just my personal opinion. I know everybody, you know, think differently, but that would be the only way that I think we would have got fleeced. Because if he goes up there and starts and may win a few games, you know, what the hell good is that going to do? The ultimate goal of the NFL is just like any other sport is to win the title. If he goes
Yes,
and
sir.
leads them to a damn in a Super Bowl title, you know, possibly against us, yeah, you know what? Hey, we got fleeced, damn it. But until that happens, I'm not buying it.
I
I'm
agree with
not
you.
buying it. I just think
I
this is
agree with you on that.
another another way for bitter Panther fans to talk shit. You know, and
Yeah.
we all frustrated. All of Panther Nation is frustrated, but some of y'all are just bitter, and you know you're never gonna be happy no matter what. You know, leave
Yeah.
it alone. Let that man cook. Okay. Now, mind you, if next year same crap happens, well, you know what? Okay, his ass may have to go, but leave that man alone. And
Yeah.
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
Jay Issue said, now if Matt threw the ball in front of his guys and looked calm in the pocket with smart reads, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the ones that said I'd be fine keeping him if he can't
Thank
compete.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are definitely in agreement with that.
Hmm.
1,000%. I mean, it would have made no sense to move on from him if he was showing you those type of skills. You know what I'm saying? That he was
Hmm.
ready to be QB2. Now we know he wasn't gonna
Exactly.
be QB1, but if you
Yeah.
showed you was capable of being QB2,
Hmm.
you might have stayed. You might have
Yep.
stayed, and Andy Dalton could very well been kept as the number 3 emergency quarterback. You never know.
Hmm.
But you
Yep.
didn't he didn't show nothing. He didn't
Yep.
show nothing.
Ken, thank you, sir. Ken with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you, man.
Hey,
He
we
says
appreciate that, Kenneth.
question, give Matt 2 healthy years as backup, NFL ready then? Well, we'll
Nah,
never know.
we'll
Well,
never know. But
we'll
here's the
we'll
thing
never know
about
here
it.
in Carolina.
Yeah, but here's the thing about it though. When you're dealing with backups, a lot of times backups stay backups because you don't get the necessary snaps during the week, especially during the regular season. You don't get the kind of snaps and the kind of attention that QB1 would get. Everything that
Mhm,
you would get normally would be in through OTAs, training camp, work that you do on your own. So that's the question. Like what is he would he do you think he would be willing to put in the necessary work off the field to be in a position to when he does get the opportunity, he'll show out? I don't know. A lot of guys ain't built like that. A lot of them don't have that hunger to do those type
mhm,
of things. So you never know. You never know.
yeah, because the thing is too, now we talk about where he was overthrowing people, you know, throwing them, you know, too wide, they couldn't get the ball and whatnot. Now, people will argue, oh, it was just one game. It might have had a bad game. My thing is, a bad game in preseason will get you just what he got. But
Yeah. Yes, it will.
you know what I mean? That's what a bad game in preseason would do. It will get you up off that squad. So yeah,
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
quick, fast.
And the Brown, what's up, Anthony?
What's
AB,
up,
what's
Anthony?
good with you, my boy?
Yes, sir.
What's
But
good
yeah,
with
man,
you?
I'm just at the last couple days, all this. Oh, we got fleeced, and oh, he's on the hot seat, and this. I can't lie, it's been exhausting just looking at some of these things and reading comments and stuff. I'm just like, oh, okay, y'all. Like, hey,
Listen, I wasn't gonna bring it up because I was like, listen, the hot seat with Scott Fitterer and all that was enough, and I
mhm,
was trying my best to ignore that. But I mean, hey, you brought it up, so because I was like, it just didn't make no sense, and I
mhm,
understand people was doing stuff, throwing stuff out there just for clickbait or what have you. I try not to get into those pointless conversations, but hey, it
yeah.
is what it is. Like you always say, we don't know everything, but we're gonna talk about it all. So here we
Yeah,
are.
because now, mind you, if you want to look at it like this, yes, we traded a pick to the Patriots to jump up to get Corral. Okay, and if
Right.
you want to look at it like that, they now have that pick that they took to get. I think it was that they used to get Bailey Zappi with that pick. Okay,
Bailey Zappi, and
yeah,
the other pick was Mapu, Marty Mapu,
okay,
offensive line.
yeah.
He was, yeah,
So they have that pick because we swapped third round picks and then we gave them a fourth. Oh, so
yeah.
they got our third round, we got theirs, and then we got we gave them the fourth round. They took Bailey Zappi. Okay. And now that everybody's like, oh, well, they got Corral too. If you want to look at it that way, hey, cool. But like I said, until Corral goes up there and shows us something different than what he showed us this
Right,
preseason in Carolina,
right.
if you want to say he got fleeced, take that. I'm gonna say we got fleeced. Hey, take that. Run till your feet get tired. It's whatever.
Not till your feet get tired.
Yeah, run till you can't run no more.
I feel you. I feel you.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
listen, we're gonna move on. We're gonna go over the 53-man roster is set now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had the we picked up three players off the waiver wire. Excuse me, I apologize. We picked up
Mm-hmm.
three players off the waiver wire that were signed to the 53-man roster because you can only, if you pick somebody off the waivers, they can't go to the practice squad. You have to move them to the 53-man roster. And of course, we made some changes. We had to get rid of three people, which Matt Corral was one of those three people that we got rid of so we can have a complete 53-man roster. So we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna look at it now, position by position, and we're gonna start with the quarterbacks.
All
All
right.
right. So everybody know we have two quarterbacks now: Bryce Young, Andy Dalton. Matt Corral is no longer with us. And how you feel about just having two quarterbacks going into the regular season?
Hey, I'm fine with it. I am
Okay.
fine with it. Um, I think Bryce Young is ahead of the curve, per se. I
Right.
think he is where he needs to be and probably a little bit ahead of where he needs to be at this point. So I
Right.
got all confidence in Bryce. Um, with the one exception that we have to keep him up and keep him healthy. Okay.
Yeah.
And God forbid something does happen to Bryce, I don't have any issues with the with the Red Rocket being back there or Red Rifle, whatever they call him. One of them. Probably
Yeah.
call them both. But I
Red
have
right.
no issue. Yeah, I had no issue with Andy. And and like we were saying, you know, there's still the spot of the emergency quarterback.
Right.
So I don't know if they want to bring in somebody to fill that role. Who knows? But as far as these two guys right here, I think Andy Dalton can lend a lot of advice to Bryce. He's been in the league a long time, so he can pass on his knowledge and experience to Bryce Young. And like I said, as long as we can keep Bryce up, keep him healthy. And one thing that I think people kind of glance over in the preseason, Bryce, his awareness is, I think at this point it's legit. I think his awareness level is legit. Okay. And we've seen
Okay.
this when he was at Alabama. He doesn't take a whole lot of really, really big hits. Now, and I say that,
No, he
and his
doesn't.
first hit in the preseason was a big hit, but that was one like he really didn't, see that one coming at all. But he's mobile. He's a lot more mobile than people give him credit for. He's a lot more elusive. He can
Yes.
get out of
Yes.
would-be tackler sacks in the backfield, slide out to the pocket, not slide out in the pocket or out of the pocket. I'm sorry, slide out of the pocket, not necessarily take off running without first looking down the field to see if maybe there is something that he can do before it's like all else fails. Okay, let me take off and run, get a few yards. And when he does that, he gets out of bounds or he slides and gets down because he's like, you know what, unless it's fourth down and 1 and the game is on the line. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that he would do everything he could to get that extra yard. But if it's first down and 10 and he gets 8 yards and there's 5 people coming at him, he's getting down. So,
Yeah. Well,
but yeah.
he definitely shows you in the preseason the type of poise and command of the offense, the huddle, and even being in the pocket is the same that he had when he was at Alabama. And
Mhm.
yes, he took some big shots, but he don't take it on a consistent basis. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he
Mhm.
also showed that he's tougher than a lot of people wanted to give him credit for. All right. He's
Mhm.
definitely
Indeed.
tougher than what a lot of people gave him credit for. He's definitely a lot more. And I don't understand how people could question his mobility when one of the things that they always said about him when he came out or during the draft process was comparing him to Steph Curry. He was like
Yeah.
he's like Steph Curry in the pocket. He's a magician. Well,
Mhm.
if that's the case, then I would think that his mobility is a little better than what people try to give him credit for. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I didn't understand that. To me, there again, that was like another talking point.
Yeah.
Just to have something to say. But
Mhm.
I let my eyes always be the judge.
Yeah.
And from everything that I've seen, he
Mhm.
controls. He has the type of poise and leadership and command of the huddle, the offense, and navigating the pocket, just like he did at Alabama. To me,
Mhm.
there's really no difference, and he's only going to get better as time goes on.
Yep. And let's point out, Tony, that what we're talking about is what we've seen of him so far. Okay, this is what
So
we got to
far,
work
right,
on so far. We're not up here saying that this is going to be, the end all be all for the rest of the season. Because in a week's time, week in the day, it's all going to be, for all the marbles. So we
right.
will see, but as what we've seen right now, this is how we feel. But Tony, I do want to shout out Paul Mancini. He says, "Good afternoon, fellas. I do think the Panthers will bring in a young QB to the practice squad, run the scout team, etc." I agree, but I wanted to shout out Paul. I mean, when I say Paul is always commenting on the videos. I don't know if this is the first time, Paul, you made it to a live. If it is, I apologize. But I can count on Paul. If I got if we got 4 or 5 points in the segment, I can count on 6, 7 comments from
Yeah.
Paul. Paul is always engaged with us. He always
Always.
gives us his opinion. He definitely tell it like it is. So I wanted to
Yeah.
shout you out while I saw you on the live here.
We definitely appreciate it too, Paul. We definitely appreciate
Mhm.
the insight that you give too. I always like chopping it up and mixing it up, talking about ball with you. So yeah,
Yeah.
keep it coming, man.
And
What else to
blesses. I
say?
like our 2 QBs, smart rookie and a good vet, tag team like wrestling, tag when needed. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I agree with that too.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Paul says PJ Walker is back on the street after the Bears released him, I believe.
Let him stay
Hold
there.
on. I thought he did
He
he
got
go
released.
somewhere else? No, no,
No,
no,
he
I
didn't
know,
go
I know.
nowhere else.
Oh, it was just Chicago.
Yeah, just Chicago.
I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
didn't
why
go
I thought
nowhere else.
somebody else. I don't want thought somebody else picked him up. But now I think this is where me and Tony disagree. I wouldn't have no issue with them bringing PJ Walker back. You know, I'm
Really?
not saying he's gonna come in. I wouldn't have no issue. I never had an issue with PJ Walker. You know, I
As
think he
as
served.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I will say I think he served admirably in what he was asked to do. You know what I mean. So
So you think he'll be a good number 3 emergency quarterback? Okay, well, let
yeah,
me answer my own question on that. Yeah, I think he would if they brought him in as the emergency quarterback, no number 3. I can
hmm
rock with that.
yeah,
I can rock
yeah,
with that because even with PJ
hmm
Walker, you always got, in my opinion, you always got more than what the value of the quarterback, because he did,
exactly.
to me, he did an admirable job last year, given the
hmm
situation and the conditions, and the play call, like all the things that was good that he had against him. I think he
hmm
performed pretty good last year,
Yeah,
and so it's not like you pay him a shit ton of money or anything like
hmm
that, But that veteran presence,
yeah.
yeah. So
Just
yeah,
I
I
mean,
I can go with that. I can go with that.
he didn't blow the doors off anywhere, with mind-boggling stats or anything. We're not saying that,
Right.
but I think he performed. He did okay. Like I said, I wouldn't mind having him coming in as like that third string emergency quarterback. I wouldn't see no issue with that. Paul
Yeah.
says, old reference to Stephen Curry is more about his running the offense and distributes the ball to whoever is open. Facts,
Yeah, that's true.
facts,
That's
facts,
true.
facts.
But I was
Uh,
talking about go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just talking about Paul. They was not only the Steph Curry reference, but the magician reference that a lot of people were using too. How his escapability. I was also talking about that because he has great awareness of where the rush is coming from when he's in the pocket, and he shows you great elusiveness. Being able to get out
Mhm.
of situations that most quarterbacks wouldn't be able to get out of. So
Yeah.
that's what I was meaning when I was talking about um
Mhm.
the escapability, the magician part. Yeah.
MDJ 365 said, just pulling up. Andy has the ability to always be ready and has seen it all in all situations, but Bryce making it all 17 is key to the seasons. Fact and fact. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Because you think
Yes,
about
sir.
him in New Orleans last year, a couple more games would have went their way, and hell, they might have won the division. Because it
That's
was
true.
Tampa Bay was 8-9, we were 7-10, the Saints were 7-10. I can't remember Atlanta's record. Were they 7-10 as well? Might have been all three
Yeah.
of us
Yeah.
7-10. Yeah.
Everybody was 7-10, and Tampa Bay was 8-9.
Yeah, you talking about mediocre of mediocre, boy. I swear. That was the NFC South last year. I'm telling you. Paul says, thanks and appreciate the opportunity to comment. You guys do a great job. Keep it up. Hey, thank you, sir.
Appreciate it,
Thank you.
Paul. Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Right. MDJ. Not sure I believe Frank had PJ Walker before. He was Andrew Luck's backup. Was he?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. PJ Walker was in Indianapolis when Andrew Luck was there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah, a
he
little bit
sure
of
was.
familiarity there. So, you never know.
Yeah, a little
Paul
familiarity.
says, I think PJ would be a good QB3 as he's familiar with many of the players, organization, and would run the scout team well. But that mobile QB in practice to prepare the defense will help mentor Bryce Young also. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That
I
that's
agree with
that
that.
that all that you saying is true, Paul. All that you say
Mhm.
is true, and he would definitely be a challenge to the defense in practice as well. So you help those guys get better. But that's what the scout team is for. So I
Mhm.
mean, if you got a capable quarterback back there that can challenge the corners and the safeties and stuff like that, that's like that old say, that iron sharpen iron type of thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, I agree with that.
Mm.
So now the more and more I think about it, the more I like the idea. So yeah, Frank, I think you need to give PJ a call.
Hey, look who we done swayed in our favor,
Yeah,
Paul.
yeah.
Let me see. House E Claus. What's up to you guys? Much appreciate to you, your show, and
I
how
think
it's
that's House
evolving.
Nick.
Nick, I'm terrible with
Is it
names. I
Nicholas?
apologize. Yeah,
Man, I
it
don't
probably is. I'm sorry. My apologies. It
know.
said be ready for that draft tomorrow. Oh, yes, yes. And for those of you that's tuning in, our Two Fans and Stand draft will be tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. For those of
Yeah,
y'all that are in the league, we appreciate you. Be ready. It'll be fun, be
yes,
competitive.
yes,
And
definitely.
please, please, folks, set your lineups. That's all I ask. Set your lineup.
Yeah,
Don't give nobody
yeah.
no free wins, okay? No free
Don't get
wins.
no free win. And if I would have thought about it when we first set it up and decided to do it, I would have had us have like a little draft party online. We could have got
Mhm.
online with all 12 teams and did the draft online, but I didn't think about that till yesterday, and I'm like, well, it's probably a little too late, try to get
Yeah,
everybody in,
yeah.
to do that. But I think that would have been fun.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Paul said the Falcons O-line ability to run the ball concerns me next week. A backfield of Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, and Cordero Patterson may be the deepest in NFL, and I expect the Falcons to attempt to run. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
They
I,
they
I
gonna they
agree.
gonna run the ball. They're gonna run the ball
Mhm.
just like they did last year. But the no matter how deep they are, you only got one ball, and only one person can tote it at a time. So
Yeah.
as long as we concentrate on stopping whoever's in the backfield, whoever is on the field at that time, I think we'll be all right. As long
Mhm.
as we can keep our defensive linemen fresh,
Yeah.
keep guys fresh, rotate guys in and out. I think we'll be all right. I'm not too concerned, but the proof will be in the pudding come next Sunday, and we definitely know who we
Mm.
are.
Yeah,
We
we're
definitely
getting
know
that
who
little
we are.
more. We're getting that little
Yeah.
more when we get to the defensive line.
All right. So let's move on real quick. 'Cause I know we've been on the
Mhm.
quarterbacks quite a while. So next we have is the offensive line. So
Okay.
we already know who the five starters are with Ike Aquano, Brady Christensen, Bradley Bozeman. Look like Chandler Savala right now is scheduled to be the starting right guard alongside the veteran Taylor Moton.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
other four signees that we have offensive linemen is Nash Jensen, Calvin Throckmorton, Cade Mays, and North Carolina A&T own Ricky Lee.
Ricky Lee. Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Before you get going, I was watching I was watching the round table with PNP the other night. They did an NFC round table, and
Uh-huh.
the guy from the Saints, I think his name is Q. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but I think he called Big Q. And so Rashad asked him about Throckmorton, and first thing he did, he started laughing. He was like, down here, he got that New Orleans. He said down here they call him Throckmorton, Calvin Throckmorton. I was like, Lord have mercy. I was I was like, that's not a good sign. This man come in and his nickname in New Orleans was Throckmorton. But
I,
but yeah,
that
I
was
had to throw
probably
that in.
that. Yeah, that probably was just all a little fun and game nickname. Because I mean,
Man,
hell, if you act like some people do, act like they can pronounce his last name, they probably will saying Throckmorton. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. Can you imagine that New Orleans ass? Yeah, that Throckmorton. Yeah, that Calvin Throckmorton.
So CJ,
Okay.
what you feel about this offensive line?
Okay. Now, with the way Icky has looked in the preseason, I do think that he will be okay. The
Mhm.
one against Kayvon Thibodeau, that was a miscommunication. And even though it looked bad, I made a meme about it, put it up as a short, got a lot of views. It was funny, but I think everybody who has watched enough football will know that that was a clear miscommunication. Okay. But that does not discount the other sacks that he gave up in the Jets game and in the Lions game, where he got beat. Okay. And
Right.
I had just called it what it is. He got beat. So camping, they need to go back. They need to watch the film, work on his footwork, how he kicks his legs out, his hand positioning, all that stuff. And hopefully he's been working on it this week. He's got another
Yeah.
week before the game starts. He can get that stuff right. Okay. Christensen, Bozeman, Taylor Moton, all solid. What I've seen out of Chandler Zavala so far, he's made a couple rookie mistakes, okay, which is to be
Right.
expected. But I think he will step in and serve, admirably in that right guard spot. Now, the only issue I have is if any one of these five you see on the screen here get hurt. And I think that's going to be a theme going through this entire list. I feel good with the offensive line. I feel a lot better with Austin Corbett back. Okay, but I still feel okay
Right.
with the offensive line. Um, Hopefully they all stay healthy. Okay, we saw what they can do last year when they sat and they decided, okay, we are going to be a running team. We are going to run the ball. All right. So
Right.
what's a quarterback's best friend? You get that run game going, you get that play action going, and
Yes,
let
sir.
Bryce Young sit back there and cook. So yeah, with the offensive line, I'm cool with it. Just need all of them to stay healthy.
So do you think you are more worried because of the lack of experience with the backups? Because we have
Absolutely.
two rookies. Basically you can say K Mays is a rookie. This is his second year, and I don't know how long Calvin Throckmorton has been in the league. I think this is like his third year. So,
Hmm.
do you think because of the lack of experience and on the line, Chandler Zavala is a rookie, Brady Christensen, this is just his second year, and Icky. So, really, the only experience you really got up front is Bradley Bozeman and Taylor Moton. But I think the young guys have a lot more room to grow and a higher ceiling than some of the vets that we had in there. And you saw them
Hmm.
just for who they are. You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And I'm just saying now, Nash Jensen, Ricky Lee. When I say, I hope everybody stays healthy and don't get injured. It's because they're both undrafted free agents. They don't have a lot of experience. But you are correct. I'm glad you said that because I was going to mention the fact that I would take these two undrafted free agents over what the hell we saw from Michael Jordan and Cam Irvin over the last 3 years they've been here.
3 years.
Years, yeah.
Yeah.
At some
Facts.
point, you got to cut bait and move on. How many times you gonna let somebody take a hammer and knock you upside the head, and you gonna keep saying, "Oh, they ain't mean to do it. Oh, they ain't mean to do it. Oh,
That
they
ain't
ain't mean to
hurt.
do it." After a while, you're gonna be in the ER, passed out in a coma for the next 10 years or something. So, that's how I felt
Facts.
about them two. If it was ever a better time, because the thing is, what has Cameron Irvin and Michael Jordan shown you that they can do any better than anybody else?
Nada. Not a
Nada,
damn thing.
nada. You
Nothing.
paying you paying two veterans to go out there and turn around and watch their defender go after their rookie quarterback.
And
Okay,
be
they have had
glorified hype being on the field.
thank you. They have had plenty of time in this league to show what their worth is. Okay, and I'm not gonna get into numbers, but their worth is for Carolina. It hasn't been much at all. So go ahead,
Exactly.
cut bait, see what you got. Ricky Lee, Nash Jensen. They brought in Throckmorton. You got K Mays. Okay. K Mays can play all five positions on the offensive line. And like I said, I pray to the good Lord above. Everybody stay healthy. I still think we got a decent offensive line. And then once we get Austin Corbett back, that adds to the depth. You still got K Mays. I not K Mays, Chandler Zavala. My bad.
Right. Right.
Hmm.
So okay, I'm glad you brought that up because my question would be is, well, I guess it's two questions. One, if Chandler Zavala plays exceptionally well, Do
Mhm.
you think that Austin Corbett would get his spot back?
Absolutely.
Okay. Two,
Mhm.
when Austin Corbett comes back, who do you think is the odd man out? Do well I well typically I guess the answer would be Chandler Savala. But let's just say that Chandler Savala plays better at right guard than Brady Christensen does at left guard. Do you switch Chandler Savala to the left side and install Austin Corbett in his natural position?
You saying take Christensen out?
Yeah,
No. Let me tell you.
because I asked that because you want your best five on the field.
Mhm.
That's why I say that.
Well,
But go ahead.
my thing is if Brady Christensen is over at the left guard spot and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and you already got that chemistry, that cohesiveness, you don't mess that up. Okay?
Right. I
Don't mess.
understand that.
I think it would take. I think Chandler Zavala would have to start blocking people through the end zone, through the wall, through the concrete in the parking lot before they'd be like, you know what, Austin, when you come back, you're gonna be on the bench because this boy is just annihilating everything. I think it's gonna take that type of effort. You know, he's just gonna have to
Mm.
be one hand and slapping people, like E Honda Street Fight and just knocking them the hell out. I'm sorry, not one handed, 100 hands. Ehana had the 100 hand slap. My bad.
I don't know
But,
nothing about them games.
hey, man, that's
I
why
don't know
you old
nothing
and I'm
about them
not.
games. Okay, I take that. I take that.
We go back here. Cameron Duckett, how you doing, buddy? He said Corbett experience when he comes back. Yep. Paul said
Yeah.
Washington released former Panther offensive lineman Tyler Larson, who wasn't a bad
Huh.
backup at both center and guard positions. Yeah, I wouldn't be completely upset if they brought him back. And Uncle Quan from the Panthers experience said, "What's going
Uncle
on,
Quan,
fellas?
what's
How you
going
doing, sir?
on, my boy? You
How
know, I
you
feel
doing?"
I feel weird as hell calling you Uncle Quan, because I know I ain't gonna get into numbers, but I'm about double the age of whatever you are, right? So
Oh,
every time I say it and I think about it, I'm like Uncle Quan, I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna let
hey,
him have it.
hey, look, he's somebody, uncle.
Yeah.
Look at
Okay.
you. Look at you right here.
Yeah.
I don't want to call that young man uncle because I might
You
be
know,
twice his age. Oh God,
yeah.
Almighty, you sound old.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But hey, listen, um, Panther Nation, we do want to let you know Tuesday at 5 p.m., which is September 5th, we are going live with Panthers Experience Uncle Quan here on Two Fans in the Stands. Again, 5 p.m. I believe it's Tuesday on the 5th. Uncle Quan will be in the building. So we're looking forward to that show. Looking forward to having him here. Got a series of questions that I want to ask him. Want to find out his thinking. Where he's at on a couple of topics. But it should make for a fun show. So make sure that you tune in to that
Mhm.
live as well.
All right. See, Cameron Douglas said, y'all get y'all Sunday ticket. If you're talking about the game, no. If you're talking about the streaming, yes.
Yeah. I keep Sunday ticket.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I keep
Dr.
Sunday
R.
ticket.
McNeil in the building. What's up, cousin? How you doing?
Yeah, what's going on, doctor?
Quan said, Elva, y'all can just call me Q or Quan. Or nah, bro. Nah, it's Unc. It's Uncle Quan
Yeah,
all day, baby. Uncle
yeah.
Quan.
That's what it is. That's just
Yes,
what it
sir.
is.
Don't don't
Uncle
don't
Quan,
don't let
that's
that
just what it
old
is.
don't let that old fogey above me disrespect what you got in your name. You Uncle Quan, damn it. Respect that.
Hey, put some respect
Uh,
on his name. Put some respect on it. I
put some
feel you.
spec on it. Yeah.
I feel you. I feel you.
Paul said, yes, Corbett would be the starter and Zavala back to backup. It's difficult to switch young offensive linemen and mess up the continuity of the O line. Most coaches hate to do this and start moving O line around. Yeah, agree. Chris,
Yeah.
what's good? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Chris?
Cameron Duckett, what do you think about us cutting Shy Smith? Whew, you know what? Let's hold that until we get to the wide receivers, and I'll swing back to that comment, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Katie bought the overpriced YouTube Sunday ticket. Leave him alone, Kenny. He
Oh
said, I
man.
heard it on Extra Extremes, have it, and I'm not getting that overpriced YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
Hey,
I
and
feel
let
you
me
on
tell you,
that one.
it is about 4 billion ways to watch any and everything now. So I ain't mad at everybody for getting it in how they fit in, however they watch their games. All right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
um,
that's
but
that's
yeah,
for
but
sure.
yeah, but back to the offensive line. Yeah. What was your last question, Tony? You talking about Corbett coming back and Zavala
Well, like
taking Christian's spot.
if Zavala is playing well enough,
Gotcha.
if he's playing better than what Brady Christensen is playing a left guard, do you make that switch to do you switch Zavala to left guard and install Austin Corbett in his natural position? And I asked that question because you always want your best five linemen on the field. And I don't think it would
Yeah.
take long for Chandler Zavala to make a switch back to left guard because that is his natural position. Like he's only
Yeah.
playing right guard right now because Corbett is out. And the
Yeah.
hope was or is that eventually, I know my hope was that eventually he would be the left guard. So if he's out playing Brady Christensen on the line by the time Austin Corbett comes back, I don't see no reason as to why you can't move him back or move him to left guard and install Austin Corbett in his natural position. To me, that solidifies the line all the way across the board, and you got them big boys that we talked about last year being up front.
Yeah. Well, let me let everybody in that's watching know. Tony does not particularly care for Brady Christensen. Okay,
There you go.
let's
There
let
you go.
that. Come on now.
There you go.
Don't don't
Come
don't
on
don't even,
now.
don't even try it.
You gotta say that
Everybody,
every
Tony,
time. It's not that I
Tony,
don't like the man.
look.
All I said
I'm
was he was just a little
hold on.
light ass.
I'm gonna try to remember to zoom in on my face when I edit this. Okay, but Tony does not like Brady Christensen, folks. Okay, he has said it time and time again on air when we just having
Lies.
our chats off air. He does not like Brady Christensen. In Tony's own words, and I quote, he is a little light in the ass and he got Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Okay.
That I ain't never said no Tyrannosaurus Rex. I ain't never said that. Now that's a lie. I have said time and time again he's light in the ass, and I
Oh
there's no
god.
lies with that. I stated no lies.
Hey, but you know
So
that was his knock coming out of BYU. Everybody thought he had short arms, and I'm just like, oh, okay,
yeah,
well, whatever. But like I said before, Zavala would have to have a hellified 4 or 5 games, or however many games it is till Corbett comes back for them to do that. Now he is playing at that worldly, God killer level, as we like to say in anime and stuff. Then hey, I wouldn't have no issues with it, but he would definitely have to be like supremely balling out for them to even consider that move. So, but yeah.
mm,
But as of right now, no.
okay. Working
Chris
and
say
listening.
working and listening. Hey, we appreciate you, big dog. I'm glad I'm in NC and the Panthers are the mandatory game. Exactly. Lucky because Tennessee Titans is ours. Oh, gotcha. I guess they're laughing at the Tyrannosaurus arm.
Yeah. So all right, so let's move on to the next thing here. And we had the
Mhm,
wide receivers. So the Panthers kept 6 wide receivers. So seven. I'm sorry, we kept six, and then we traded for Emer Smith
mhm.
Marset. So of course we got Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Jonathan Mingo, Terrace Marshall Jr., and Emer Smith
Emir
Marset.
Smith
This
Marset.
Yeah, Laviska Shenault. All right. So that's six. Yeah, that's six. Yeah, we got
Uh-huh.
six.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think about the addition of ISM, and what do you think about the wide receiver room as a whole?
To be honest with you, I think the wide receiver room is the no really surprises here except for ISM. To be honest, that's the only surprise. Derek Wright was a fan favorite. He was cut. He is back on the practice squad. But I
Hmm.
honestly, this entire time, I did not see him making the team. I figured he was always going to be a cut on cut day. Well, he made it to the initial 53-man roster, and then he got cut the day after when they brought in them other guys. But like I said last time, I had put up a little poll on YouTube because when they traded for him, and I was like, oh, okay, so this man has receiving skills, he has
Right.
return skills, and he also said he has a little bit some experience, coming out the backfield as a rusher. Okay. So I put up a poll and I put Blackshear, Shy Smith, and Derek Wright on the right side, and I put ISM on the left side. And I asked the question. I said, okay, with the Panthers traded for him, who do you think spot is in danger? And the only reason I put Blackshear up there is because he has that punt return and kick return experience. And to me, the only not the only thing, but a lot of people were campaigning for Spencer Brown, but like we always said on the show, Blackshear had that added what's the word I'm looking for? Add the added benefit of having punt and kick return experience with Spencer
Yeah,
Brown,
that versatility.
that versatility. Yes, thank you, sir.
Right.
And but yeah, and I didn't really, I kind of didn't really think it was going to be him because they had already let go of Spencer Brown the day before. I honestly thought it might have been Derek Wright. When it turned out to be Shy Smith, and to go back to Cameron Duckett's question, I was a little shocked, you know, just a little bit, because I do believe that Shy Smith did enough in the preseason to be on the roster. Okay.
Right.
But if the Panthers went out and they saw this young man here and felt like he brought more to the table than Shy Smith did, then we got to see where this goes.
Right. Right. I
Mm,
agree with you on that. I agree with you on that. Like, I don't know much about ISM. I saw a little highlight tape of his preseason game this year. I also
mhm,
believe a game that he had last year where he had three catches on three targets for like 100 some yards.
yeah,
So, but my main question was, what's the reason that this young man has done bounced around to like four different teams in his short career? I don't think I think this is only like his third year. So my answer to myself was, a lot of players when they come into this league, they don't mature. Their game doesn't mature fast as others. Sometimes it
mhm,
takes 2, 3, 4 years for your game to match that NFL level. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To where you are game ready. And it just might this just might be one of those situations. And I hope it is, because at the end it will be helpful and will play out in our favor. So,
okay,
like you said, the rest of the wide receiver room, there was no big surprises there. Um, I didn't necessarily think Shot Smith was going to be brought back, especially after they made this trade for ISM. I for me, um I like Raheem Blackshear over Spencer Brown
mhm,
because of the versatility and everything. But we know
yeah,
we'll talk about that when we get to the running backs. But right now, I like the wide receiver room. Now I'm just ready to see the offense, the scheme of the offense in its
mhm,
full totality
yeah,
come next Sunday. That's what I'm waiting to see, because I'm waiting to see. I want to see these guys get open against another defense instead of ours.
yeah. Because
That makes
Kenneth, he
sense.
said, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He said Junior got to step up this year. Glad to see ISM now. there are two juniors. There's Terrence Marshall Jr. and Laviska Chenault Jr. But I'm going to say this with Terrence Marshall. I have said this before, and I'm going to stick with this. Don't sleep on Terrence Marshall Jr. Okay, do not sleep on Terrence Marshall Jr. I think he is primed for a big year, and I will stand on that hill by myself if I have to until I'm proven otherwise. Okay.
Now you ain't by yourself because I'm with you on that. And
Okay.
there's been a lot of salt thrown on his name, a lot of
Hmm.
negative comments. All I'm going to say, like I've been saying, just wait and see. As long as he can
Hmm.
stay healthy, that's the only knock when it comes to Terrence Marshall Jr. Can he stay
Yeah.
healthy? As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be more productive than what most people are willing to give him credit for. That's my
Yeah.
belief.
Exactly. Carolina Panthers podcast, Germany podcast. Like the video. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, if you're still watching, you haven't, please hit that like button. It will definitely help the algorithm for us and get this out here so everybody else can see it as well. We appreciate you, Carolina Panthers Germany podcast. Yeah,
That's Wiley.
yeah, that's wild. Look at Kenneth. Hey,
I ain't
look,
fooling with Kenneth right now, man. I ain't
look,
fooling with Kenneth.
I'm a screenshot this, Kenneth. Hopefully I get to bring it back. But if I don't, you will never see this again. All right.
Right.
Cameron
Kenneth,
Duncan
that's it.
said we need Terrence Marshall Jr. to look like his former teammates, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Now, yeah, that would be great. Okay, that
That
would
would
be
be
great.
great.
That would be great. I don't think that out the gate he needs to look exactly like them, but
Right.
Terrence Marshall just needs to come out, stay healthy, run good routes, catch balls. Okay.
And be productive. Be
Yes, and,
productive.
and he needs to start off, just being productive and just continuing to grow on that. Okay, but yes, you are right. If we can get him to be at a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson level, that would be great. Do I think it's going to happen? I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, but I damn sure love it too. So yeah.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So moving right along, what we got next here is the running backs. Now, this is one of the positions that we were correct in our assumption of who will be kept and who will be let go. So there was no big surprise here, in my opinion. So we have Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, and Raheem
Mhm.
Blackshear. So
Yep.
what's your feeling on the running back room, CJ? What you think?
I'm
Did we make the right choice in keeping Raheem Blackshear over Spencer Brown?
well, we'll find out. But now with ISM coming in and having, his experience in punt return, kick return, I'm not gonna lie. And y'all tell me if I'm wrong for saying this, but to be honest, I think Chuba Hubbard is just kind of here by default. Okay.
Yeah,
And and like I always say, don't knock the Chuba Hubbard. Okay, I'm just going by what I see. It wouldn't have bothered me if they would have kept Spencer Brown and let Chuba Hubbard go. And
right,
I'm just throwing that out there. I'm Chuba Hubbard's okay. I've never really been a big Chuba Hubbard fan. And like we always
right.
say, when he was at Oklahoma State, he had lanes to run through that was wide as 5 lanes on I-85.
Yes, sir.
You know,
Facts.
he kind of gives off the Sean Foster vibes for me, where the hole is there and then he runs that way. The hole is
Mm,
here and then he goes that way.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but he's here, and I'm hoping that he can be productive. Um, Miles Sanders, I think Miles Sanders is going to have a good year. The disrespect that's being thrown at Miles Sanders' way this year to me has been just crazy. It's just crazy because everybody said, "Oh, he had the perfect offensive line in Philadelphia," so that's the only reason he shined. I want to remind everybody that Deonta Foreman had 800 and something odd yards behind our offensive line after what game 6 of the season.
Right. Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So you think about them numbers, he would have been up there around 12, 1,300 yards if he would have started the entire season behind, the offensive line with Bradley. Just say with Bradley Bozeman was in there, they started the whole season. And but it's a lot of factors that would have to change for all this. No Matt Rule, no, all this stuff. But if he'd have got a whole
Right.
season behind that offensive line running the way that they were running, I mean, he might have been up there, 11, 1,200 yards. So Miles Sanders, I don't see any reason why he can't come in, have that same production as Deonta Foreman, and and better. So
But what's crazy to me is if here's the thing: if you don't like a player, just come out and say you don't like that player. Just say,
mhm,
you know what? No matter what Miles Sanders do,
mhm.
that's not my guy. I hate it when I hear people want to fault the running back because he ran behind a good line. Like, what kind of damn
What he
sense does
supposed to
that?
do?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the hell he's supposed to do. He's supposed to have a
Mhm,
line in front of him that will help him get off. Because if he had a line that didn't block worth a damn, then you want to talk about he's sorry. He can't hit the
mhm,
hole. He can't break a tackle. He can't do this. He
mhm.
only averaging 2.5 yards per carry. What have you? I'm like, damn, pick a struggle. It can't be both.
Exactly.
You need to
Exactly.
be either up or to the right. Get off the
Mhm,
fence. Stop. Like I say, if you don't like him, just say, hey, you know what? I don't like Miles Sanders. I'd rather we had Deontay Foreman. I get it.
mm.
But the one to fault this man because he had a hell of a year last year running behind a stellar offensive line. Like he supposed to say sorry or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I don't think
Like,
it's a lot of Panther fans saying this. I hear this a lot, as far as other media outlets and stuff. That's the first
right,
thing they
right.
bring up. Oh, he had a perfect offensive line. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like me going out and somebody offered me, um, a Lamborghini or a damn Honda Civic or something, and I picked the best option. People get mad at me. Oh, you should have picked the Civic. You got to show the struggle. I'm just something dumb like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
It's
But
like
yeah,
people like, oh, well, because he had the optimal situation, that it doesn't mean he can't do it somewhere else. Well, we
right.
got a chance to see it now, and
Yeah.
hopefully he prove all them wrong. I think he will.
What's some of the comments before we move on to our next position?
Okay, let me see. KT said, kind of wish we kept Spencer Brown. Cameron Duckett said running back room is an A, and I think he meant to say B. Uh,
Okay.
Spencer Brown over Raheem Blackshear is an A. And then
I had to disagree with you
Quan,
there.
the Uncle
I
Quan said facts. People are sleeping on Sanders.
Yeah, I agree
Uncle
with you. I
Quan.
agree with you there. I agree with you there, Uncle Quan.
There you go.
Man,
There you go.
man, get off. Whatever. But Cameron Duck, I definitely can't agree with you on that. Spencer Brown over Raheem Blackshear is an A. Nah, bro. Nah, it ain't that big of it ain't that big of a difference between the two. Honestly, there's not that big of a difference between the two. But I feel you though. I feel you. All right. So the next position that we have here is the tight ends. Now,
Mhm.
I know first part of the week, especially after 1 or 2 days after the waiver wires or whatnot, everybody was asking the question, why the hell do we have 5 tight ends? What are we keeping 5 tight ends for? And I remember I said to you, CJ, last week, I was like, Steven Sullivan is hurt. I didn't know how hurt he was. I didn't even know that he was going to start the year on the IR. You know what I mean? But clearly, there's something that they don't feel like he could be ready with another week or two. So putting him on IR was best. From what I've seen from the offense so far, they don't operate in this wide zone offense, the running game anyway, with the fullback. So I don't know if they're gonna try to make Giovanni Ricci, switch him back to tight end, or they're gonna try to develop like an ace back type of position for him like he did last year. But I don't know
Yeah.
how that would fit in the grand scheme of things. But I am glad to see Hayden Hurst. I'm
Mhm.
tired of seeing Ian Thomas. Tommy Trimmer ain't really showed me nothing. Giovanni Ricci, until Hayden Hurst got here, had the best hands in the tight end room.
Facts.
So I say all that to say thank you and welcome, Hayden Hurst. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The floor is
And
yours, sir.
I was gonna say, and if anybody questions what we say about Giovanni Ricci, go back and watch some film. Anytime he's gotten in the game, anytime he's had a pass thrown his way, unless it was 6 feet over his head, he's come down with that ball. Okay. And
Right.
what I do like about this group, now mind you, if they do decide to keep all four OL, I do think that the consensus here at Two Fans in the Stands is that Ian Thomas can go, and we use that roster spot at another position. Okay. Because in my mind, I'm like, the three here, this will work. And we can use that other roster spot at another position that we have that we're kind of thin at, and we do have a couple. Okay.
Right.
But you know, Trimble came out of Notre Dame, more known for his blocking, but I think he's a capable receiver. Okay. Giovanni Ricci, he played fullback, so he can block. He can also catch. Hayden Hurst has good hands, but I do like this combination of these three
Facts.
here, especially if we were to get down the goal line and had to put in big formation. You got Trimble and Giovanni Ricci on either end blocking. Hey, it might be a bad day for whoever's trying to stop him. Like I said,
And
that's
the,
just my opinion.
and the thing that kills me so much about Ian Thomas, we gave him a damn contract extension worth $6 million a year. And I
Yeah.
was in the mindset like, why? I can't say what I want to say, what I was really saying when it happened, but
Mm-hmm.
why? Just
Yeah.
why? It didn't make good football sense to me. He was not worth that type of money. You could have went out on the market and found a better, more competent tight end than what you pay in Thomas. That's just my
Yep.
personal belief, and I'm gonna stand on that.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does it feel like Ian Thomas been here since 2011?
It do seem like he been here a long time.
It
He
seems
been
like
here. He been here
for a
about five,
long
six
time.
years. He
Yeah,
he
but
Ron Rivera
yeah,
drafted Ian Thomas.
it feels like he's been around, since John Fox days or something. I know Fox wasn't here in 2011, but yeah, it just feels like he needs his time is done.
Yeah. What's some of these comments? I see.
Team values Ian Thomas as a blocker, as a locker room leader.
I
Hey,
can. Okay, but not at $6 million a year.
yeah,
Not.
no,
I mean, hell, shit.
they could pay
You
me
was paying.
150 grand to be a motivational speaker.
Listen, they was paying Cameron Irvin a little over $1 million to be a veteran presence for Icky last year. You ain't need to pay Ian Thomas $6.5 million to be a locker room leader.
Now, let me say they paid Cameron Irvin $1 million to be a turnstile, because that joker stood up, turned around, and watched and watched the offensive lineman go past him.
That right there, I'm with you right there, Cameron Duckett, KD, because I wanted Mike Gesicki too. We did a video back then during free agency, and we had like a wish list, and Mike
He was on
Gesicki
it.
was on my wish list. Yes, he was on my
Yeah,
my wish list. I was hoping that we got Mike Gesicki, but yeah,
but
I
the
agree with you on that.
only thing with Mike Gesicki, he's on that fringe of being injury prone.
Mm,
So
I mean, yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, yeah,
Look, why leave Thomas alone? We will not. We will not.
yeah,
Absolutely not. All right.
You talking about me, Wiley, or Ian Thomas?
I think you're talking about Ian Thomas.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna leave you alone. You here for all the smoke. Go on to the next slide.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next slide. What we got? We got defensive line. All right. So there was a few head scratches in the final cuts with the defensive line. So traditionally we have our starters. There's gonna be Derek Brown and Shy Tuttle. Now Henry Anderson is starting off on the injured reserve, so that's why he has IR up there. But we
I
also
think he's done
have
for the
Deshaun.
season.
Huh?
I think Henry Anderson is done for the season.
Is he?
I think so.
Okay, I
I
double
think
check on that.
yeah.
I thought he was down for at least 4 games.
I think Anderson is gone for the season.
Oh, well, if he's going for the season, then that's going to open up another roster spot, because eventually they will release him to create that open roster spot that's probably much needed. And we have like I said, Derek Brown and Shy Tuttle. We got Deshaun Williams, Nick Thurman, and LeBron Ray. Now, it was kind of a head scratcher because I assume, probably like most people in Panther Nation, that Raekwon Williams was going to make the roster. Oh, how I was wrong. So, from my understanding, I think they did bring him back to the practice squad. So that's a good thing. I believe he's going to be called up a few times this year. Because I think from the practice squad, you can be called up at least 4 times before they have to sign you for the rest of the season to the 53-man roster. So I think they're going to take advantage of that. And he provides good depth in case something happens with with one of the other defensive linemen. So what's your thought on the defensive line room?
Ooh, let me tell you, it's looking like some college rule paper, man. Them lines are thin. Them line, hey,
I
it's
feel you.
thin, buddy. And because I got the depth chart pulled up that they have here now. So, and this has changed since I made that video on Wednesday or Tuesday, I believe. So they have Derek Brown as defensive end, followed by LeBron Ray. Shy Tuttle at nose tackle, followed by Nick Thurman. And then Deshaun Williams is the only other defensive end. So now, mind you, I don't know if this is because it's the switch to the 3-4. All right. And you got Burns and Houston, or mainly Burns, is gonna be coming off the edge, damn near every play, no matter what. So, but
Right.
yeah, this whole defensive line position did not go the way that I thought it would, like at all. I mean, at all, because in my
Yeah.
mind, I saw us keeping Marquand McCall, at least. Tennessee didn't pass his physical. Bravion Roy got cut. He think he's signing with the Ravens practice squad now. You know, I
Right.
get that. There was a lot of questions about Bravion Roy, even when he was drafted. Kind of big dude, but little on the shorter side for a defensive or a nose tackle. So that one, I was kind of but Marquand really kind of got me, because I thought he was going to be like our anchor, at nose tackle.
Right.
So
Exactly.
did it have more to do with his knee, or did it have more to do with his fit? I don't know. But this here, I don't have no issues with Derek Brown. Shy Tuttle, I think he's solid, but I do, getting back to what we was talking about in Atlanta in week 1. If a position that's going to get tested, I think right off the bat in that game,
Oh yeah.
first couple plays is going to be this defensive line. And I'm not
Yeah.
even going to lie to you. If I was Atlanta, I would line it up and I would run it straight down the Panthers' throat just to see what's what.
Hey, I can't say anything against that, because the football coach in me would say, I'm gonna do it just to make. I'm gonna do it until you adjust to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I know,
Mhm,
if I know that's your weakest link, that may be the weakest link. You may be thin at a position. Yeah, I'm gonna
mhm.
pound and pound and pound and pound until eventually something breaks.
What you gonna
That,
do,
that
Tony?
that's how that's how I look. Yeah,
What you gonna keep pounding?
that's right. I'm gonna keep pounding.
All right. Forgive me,
Yeah,
y'all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
keep pounding, my two brothers. Thank you to all Panther creators. We appreciate you all. We appreciate you
Rock
too,
Jones,
Rock.
we appreciate you. Mm. Cameron Douglas
Sweet.
says, I don't know Nick Thurman or LeBron Ray, only three good ones. Yeah. I
Mm,
don't know much about either one of these either. So but hey, we definitely gonna find out about him week one. I can guarantee you that. We definitely gonna find out
right,
either way, which way or the other. Gonna find out about him.
right.
He says
Yeah.
Tuttle, Williams, Brown is all we got on the D line. Hey, you know what, Cameron Duckett? I hate to agree with you, but I deep down, this is how I feel too. I promise you, this is how I feel. I swear it is. And I'm actually not that sold on Deshaun Williams just yet.
Mm,
That's just my personal take. I'm not 100% sold on him just yet, but I hope I'm proven wrong. House
yeah.
Nicholas said Anderson was put on the IR before the season, which means he's out all year. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Oh,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
sir or ma'am. I gotta stop saying sir to everybody because there was one comment we had a couple weeks ago and said I am female, so I was like, sorry. So House
Right.
Nicholas, appreciate you.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one.
Jones said, Uncle Quan, keep pounding, my brother. Yes, sir. Digit checks in with a who. Oh man!
That's crazy.
Wow, they said Williams is good. You know what?
Okay.
Hey, I just I'm just going by the eye test, okay? And what I've seen so far is
He
you
he
know
shown he showed he showed me some decency in preseason. I'm not gonna lie. He showed me some decency in preseason. He had some added value as a backup. You know what I mean?
yeah
So yeah.
yeah, but I thought he was gonna come in and serve in a backup role. I didn't think he was gonna be our starting defensive end, but hey, I'm not the coaches. I do not run a 3-4 defense here at the house for any reason, so I have no experience in that. So, hey.
All right. All right. So moving right along, we're gonna move on to the next position, and that will be outside linebackers. Now there was no surprise here again. We were pretty spot on with who we thought they were going to keep and who we thought was going to be let go. So of course, you got Brian Burns and Justin Houston as your starting outside linebackers. Amari Barno, Yitor Gross Matos, Marquise Haynes Jr., Senior, and DJ Johnson will be the backups, to provide added depth to the outside
Mhm.
linebackers. So CJ, what do you think about this room? Do you agree with who we kept and who we let go?
Hey, let me tell you, I was oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about another position. I'm thinking about the inside linebackers for a second. Yes, I agree with everything that was done in this position. Um, at first, I thought this was one of our weaker positions, and I think it's ended up, becoming one of the more solid positions, especially with the addition of Justin Houston. Everybody's talking about his age, and I think he's what 30, what is he 34, I believe.
34, yeah,
You know,
he's
yeah,
34.
everybody's talking about his age, and I was at the barbershop yesterday, and my barber, we was talking about Justin Houston and all that, and he was talking about he was old, and I told him, I said, well, he had double digit sacks last year, if I'm not mistaken. Barber was like, did he? And I said, I think he did. I'm
I
pretty
think he
pretty
had
sure he did.
nine and a half. I think he finished with
Oh,
nine and
okay.
a half.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, he was close. He
Yeah,
had
he did damn near close.
he had what 8 more than Gross Matos.
And he did that, and he did that only playing 44% of the snaps last year. Let's keep that in mind.
Hmm.
He only
Yeah,
played
exactly.
44% of the actual snaps last year. He was a rotational piece and
Hmm.
very productive rotational piece. I just want to throw that in
Yeah.
there.
Hey, appreciate it. And he said the other day that he feels like the defense as a whole is being slept on. So
Hmm.
again, maybe it's something that's going on that they know we don't know. We're gonna find out in a week in a day's time. But I do like this position as a whole. Amari Barno, showed flashes during the preseason. DJ Johnson. One thing that I've learned about him is that he is no slouch when it comes to having enough strength to set the edge, and push the play back to where his help can come in and make the tackle. Now, haven't
Right.
seen a whole ton out of him as far as getting to the passer, but when you got a couple guys like Brian Burns and Justin Houston in front of you, maybe this is opportunity for him to sit back, learn, and pick up some skills, some techniques, and maybe he can work on that in the future. Marquise Haynes Sr. Um, I've always liked him. I still like him. The injury bug keeps hitting him, but when he does get in the game, for the most part, he makes plays. The only one on this list, and I saw a comment here, and let me see. Me- Yes, I agree with this. The Gross Matos is my least favorite on this list. Now, okay, I will say this one caveat. Um, Will this switch to him being an outside linebacker, will it bring out something in him and make his career, maybe it's a turning point in his career so far. Maybe he has a decent season. You never know. And I read somewhere where they were saying that being that the Panthers were thin in the defensive line position, what if they use Gross Matos, more at that defensive end spot because that's where he was before. So,
Right.
we'll see. Now, he's probably a little undersized as defensive end in the 3-4 scheme, but hey, we'll see. But as a whole, I like this group.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, for me, rock solid with Brian Burns and Justin Houston. I think for the first time since we had Hassan Reddick, we gave Brian Burns somebody to play opposite side of him. And Justin Houston plays the run just as well as he rushes the passer. He's what I'm sorry, excuse me. I believe he's like 6'4", 260, 270. So he definitely has that size to set the edge. And he also has a little bit of quickness, still at his age to get to the quarterback, to affect the quarterback. So you're definitely going to see a lot of bull rushes, some power moves, to get in the backfield. But you're also going to see him be able to set the edge and help stop the run game. Um, Amari Barno, he has become more of a special teams ace. I think until he really fully develops his pass rushing skills, get his weight up, things like that. I think his value right now is being a gunner on special teams. So
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I know or I feel that they kept him. Marquise Haynes Sr., he got to stay healthy. He got to stay healthy. You got to be in a position to where the team feel like they can count on you when they need to count on you. You know, every year, he has some type of injury. Well, that doesn't bode well if you eventually want to be looked at as a starter. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah,
Accountability is your best availability. I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. My saying I probably said it wrong, but okay,
yeah. Your
it's
best
whatever.
ability is availability.
Yeah, and
We
DJ
got
Johnson, yeah, a lot of people didn't agree with that pick when we took DJ Johnson, trading up in the third round when corner was definitely a more glaring need in a lot of our eyes. But I think
Yes.
he showed a little bit of why, they did go up and get him. Not saying that he was going to be like a day one starter or anything like that, but I think he shows the ability of one, he can set the edge and he can get after the quarterback. I've seen a few times in the preseason, running backs down on the back, from the backside, things like that, setting the edge, not letting the runner get outside of him and turn the corner. So I saw some good things from him, better than what I thought I was going to see. I didn't
Yeah.
know if what I saw on his highlight tapes when he came out of Oregon was that going to be the same thing because I didn't know much about him. But
Yeah.
I was impressed. I was impressed. So with this outside linebacker room, I definitely would give it an A. I definitely say is one of our greatest strengths, and I'm glad that he has somebody to learn from
Yeah.
besides Brian Burns. He can also tap into Justin Houston and gain that knowledge as well. So
Indeed.
I'm definitely happy with this room.
Yeah. And when you go to the next one, I got a comment to bring up here.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next one. That's the inside linebackers. And I'm go ahead and let you take over, son.
Dig it. Said it's time for Bumper Lazarus Pool to make a comeback. Y'all, let me tell you, we were not really going back and forth, but when they cut Bumper Pool, Diggit was talking with me in the comments, and now mind you, I can't lie, I like Bumper Pool, and I really wish he would have made it, but hey, you know, so we'll see. He was a tackling machine in Arkansas, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah. I love this name. I think he got one of the best names I ever heard. Bumper. So
Right. Right.
yeah. But
Well, go ahead with your thought.
yeah. Inside linebackers. Now we had Deion Jones, who I thought was a decent pickup. Didn't show a crap ton in the preseason, but I kind of thought that he would be, another veteran presence, another solid backup. So when they cut him, that was one of the things that really surprised me. Um, Brandon Smith. Now, mind you, Brandon Smith was all over the field on special teams this preseason, but nothing from him, nothing from him in the year or two he's been here has really showed me anything as far as him playing linebacker. And no disrespect to him. And it may be how they were trying to use him, in the previous system, previous regime. But even this preseason, nothing really stood out about his play to me. Then, like I said, we talked about this before. He was all over the place on special teams. He made a crap
Right.
ton of special teams tackles, you know, but his value, what we need him for, linebacker spot, it just wasn't there. Okay. Kamu Gruger Hill came in, which I think he's been a nice surprise. He's been
Very
steady.
nice
He's
surprise. Very nice
yeah,
pickup.
he's made plays. He seems like he's a pretty sure tackler, which we really need, especially at the linebacker spot. Okay. Um Shaq, Frankie, I mean, I don't really got to say much about them. Everybody, those are two starting middle linebackers. Now, the kid that they picked up from the Jets, Claudin Shirellis, don't know anything about this cat, never heard of him. All I know is he went to Alcorn State and UMass, I believe he was at.
Yeah, he mass first, and I think he transferred to Alcorn State.
Yeah, he was at the Jets this preseason. He was not at the joint practices. But now this is from what I read. I read this on the Panther site. Um, he got a lot of good reviews from the Jets, this preseason. So we'll see. Hopefully that's a pick that, they did their homework on, scout team put in the work. Maybe he can be a diamond in the rough. But as of right now, I couldn't tell you diddly squat about him.
Right. Right. Um, I would give the inside linebacker room. I would give it a solid C. And the reason that is because listen, I like that we brought Frankie Louver back. I like his aggressiveness. I like what he brings as a down the hill thumper. He can definitely get in there, create sacks, create havoc in the backfield. All that good stuff that you want from one of your inside linebackers. I believe that he's gotten better as as far as pass. Uh, can't think. I'm having a brain
Pass
fart.
protection,
But yeah,
protect,
not
pass
pass
defense.
protection. Yeah, pass defense, right. So I think he's gotten better in that. My only thing was 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 with Shaq Thompson because a lot of people don't remember Shaq Thompson wasn't that big of a linebacker coming out of college when he came out of Washington. Shaq was more like a versatile play. He played running back, he played safety, and he played linebacker. All three positions he played at the University of Washington. But he got that dog in him. He got that heart. And he mainly played outside linebacker. I didn't think that he weighed enough or was stout enough in the middle to take on blocks, from the guard positions when they reach the second level, that he can just take on those blocks and be productive in that role. Now, in my eyes, it still remains to be seen. I think he's better as an outside linebacker, but in this 3-4 defense, I mean, he can't be a rush outside linebacker, so he's going to have to play inside. So that's my only liability, I think, so to speak. I still wanted to see us get a bigger linebacker, somebody with some size, somebody that can come down here. My saying, stick your nose in mama kitchen, see what's cooking. I want to see those type of linebackers in this 3-4. It's paramount to have those type of linebackers because you can say that the nose tackle is quote unquote on an island by itself in the
Mm,
middle. And if you don't have the type of middle linebackers that can come down here and close the gaps, run support, it's gonna be a long day. And that's why, like you said, both of us, Atlanta's gonna test that week one. They're gonna
sure.
test to see how stout we are up front, up the middle. Because to me, that's gonna be the weakest point.
Indeed.
That's to me, huh?
I say indeed. I agree. I'm agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah. But Claudius Shirellis, I don't know anything about him. I did see the couple highlight tapes when he was in the preseason playing with the Jets. Not a big guy. I think he's like 6 feet, 6'1", 225. But he looked pretty
Mhm.
good playing inside linebacker. Quick feet, kind of twitched up. I saw him drop back in coverage a couple times. That looked pretty good. Shooting the gaps. He's not afraid to, stick his nose in the kitchen and find out what's going on. So I like what I saw. I like what I saw on that little bit of highlight tape that he does have. I like what I saw. And Camus Gruger Hill, he just rock steady. He's doing the same thing. I believe he's going to do the same thing that he did when he was in Arizona. You know what I mean? So I
Okay.
think that was a great pickup. I think that's going to bode well for us as well throughout the season. So with the inside linebacker, yeah, B minus, C, not nothing more, nothing less.
Okay.
You
Good.
got your mic on? Oh, okay. All right. So next position, cornerbacks and safeties.
Hey,
Cornerback.
hold on, Tony. Hold on, Tony. We got
Oh,
you. We got you, Wilder. We're gonna let everybody. Let's get through these cornerbacks. We're gonna let everybody in a second.
yeah.
All
So
right, go
yeah,
ahead, Tony. Sorry.
cornerbacks. We got 5 cornerbacks in the room right now. Now, look, wait. So we got J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, C.J. Henderson, Troy Hill, and Deshaun Jameson, who we just signed off of waivers um, this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, this past week. Safeties, we got Von Bell, Xavier Woods will be the starters. Also have Jeremy Chin, Jamie Robinson, and Sam Franklin. So, CJ, what do you think about the cornerbacks and the safeties that we have on the 53-man roster? How you feeling about both of those rooms?
I feel good about the safeties, and all I'm gonna say is I'm going to send a prayer every morning on my way to work for the cornerbacks. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's all. I pray that Xavier Woods practice, catching footballs in his backyard, on the off season. I think it was a clip of something
Hope
with
he
somebody put
invested
on
in
there.
Doug's machine
Something. And they were
for
like his
real.
daughter or something, like, knew what he needed to work on. Von Bell is solid. Um Jamie Robinson, I hope if he's ever called to get in this season, he steps up and shows us way more than he did in the preseason. Because on
Man,
on here we had them letting him go, because he didn't
yeah,
show much of nothing. So and
he
that's
didn't do
because
nothing at all. Let's
yeah,
just be
for him to
honest.
come out, and be like, oh, there's not 150 something people better than me in this draft, and to come out in the preseason and put on that pitiful performance that he put on, I hope that he learns from that. I hope he takes that, uses that, focuses, and comes back even stronger. If he is called upon. But what he showed in the preseason was not it. Um, Sam
No, it
Franklin
wasn't.
is always Sam Franklin. He's definitely, more of a special teamer, but he did make a few
Special
plays
team
at the safety
ace.
spot. Special team ace.
Yes.
Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin is the real question. He's probably not going to be at safety too much at all unless somebody gets hurt and he need to step back there. He'll probably be in that big nickel position. He'll be all across the defensive line. He'll be up on the line of scrimmage. You may see him play
Yeah.
linebacker, and that's just me speculating. So we'll see all of this come week one exactly what he's going to do. Now, say
That's facts. We'll go ahead and say
yeah.
that's facts.
Well,
We'll go
I,
ahead and
I
say
I
that's
say
fact.
speculation because we didn't really see much of it during the preseason. So that's why I
Right.
say yeah,
Right.
that's all. Now cornerbacks, Jackson, Horn, solid. The only thing that's going to derail them two are injuries. Okay. JC
Yeah.
Horn, we had a whole thing about him being a shutdown corner, agree or disagree episode we had. I do believe, if he stays healthy by the end of this season, you can go ahead and stamp that on him. Dante Jackson, if he can just stay healthy, okay, that's his only
Hmm.
issue. If he could just stay healthy, he would be a good number 2 cornerback. Solid. He's got the speed. He's not going to get burnt too much over the top. And not too many people are just going to just straight run him out of his shoes. Okay. I do think he's
Yeah, that's
got enough
true.
of a skill set. He'll be a solid number 2 cornerback. He just has to stay healthy. CJ Henderson, I'm not going to say nothing about him. Troy Hill is yet to be
Now,
seen.
come on, man.
No,
I
no,
know you
no,
got some. I know you
absolutely
got something
not.
about CJ
No,
Henderson.
no, I'm
Come
tired
on,
of
don't
him.
act
I'm
like
tired
that.
of him. I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him. I don't want him
Okay.
here. I don't understand why he is still here, y'all. I do not understand this at all. I would have kept Stanley Thomas Oliver
Oh,
third. I'd have kept Greg Maben, Colin Duncan,
oh my
Rajon Wright, all them other boys. Shit, they could have brought Eric Rowe back and stuck him at the damn corner. And no, no. Moving on. Troy Hill, we haven't seen him play yet. So I hope he comes in, he can be a solid backup. Deshaun Jameson. Okay, now this is an interesting one
oh my
because
god.
everything I'm hearing from the 49er fan base and a few of their content creators, they really were upset that the 49ers let him go. Steve Wilkes, I saw a clip of him on Twitter, and he had nothing but praise for Deshaun Williams.
Right,
So
right.
again, hopefully this will be another diamond in the rough that the Panthers picked up, and we'll see where it goes from there. But cornerbacks, I kind of feel like the same way I did with offensive line. Um, I think we'll be solid, but they got to stay healthy. I think injuries is the only thing that's really going to derail this cornerback room like it did last year. If they can stay healthy, I think we'll be okay.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I can agree with you on that. Jamie Robinson, to me, in my opinion, I'm gonna start with the safeties first. So we know Von Bell and Xavier Woods. I think it was somebody that made a comment Xavier Woods can go. I wouldn't say that. I think the only knock that we have on Xavier Woods was his hands. You know,
Can't
he
catch.
showed, yeah, what cinder block hands, as CJ called
Mhm.
them.
Yes.
But
Clink, 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 clink.
As far as his toughness, his smarts, uh, being where he's supposed to be, I mean, you can't argue with his production. You can definitely argue with his hands. And the
Mhm.
only good thing about it is it shows that he was in position to
Yes.
make those interceptions. He just
Mhm.
didn't make them. Now, if he was just out of position, something like that, then yeah, I would definitely have a problem with him being a starter and would say, yeah, he definitely need to be replaced. But
Hey, and Tony,
I can't. Yeah, go ahead.
and the only interception that he had, and who messed that up? Tell me who messed it up. Tell me who messed it
CJ
up.
Henderson.
CJ Henderson. Continue, sir. I'm sorry. Continue.
All right. But yeah, that's my only thing with it. But Jamie Robinson, yeah, you know, I can respect the dog that he got inside. I can respect that the fact that he felt disrespected. But you can't talk $1 million worth of game and only come
Mm-mm.
out with $1,000 worth of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't even out. And
Dog was a chihuahua.
his lack of effort is what killed me in the preseason. Yes, you got beat on a couple plays. Yes, you got juke. Turn around and run after the receiver. Turn around and run after the running back. Don't
Thank you.
lose focus or lose interest because you got beat. Everybody gets beat. You are not the only one. This is what I would tell him if I was talking to him right now. You are not the only one, sir. You are not the only one. But what you can't do is not show or give effort. That will get your ass out the door just as quick as you walked in.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my reason for saying I felt like he should have been cut. I don't think he
Yeah,
should have
I
made
agree.
it. But he did. Sam Franklin, you can kind of see a little of the progression in his game. You know, it looked like he knew what he was doing back there when he was back there. Because a year or two ago, we was definitely at the mindset, don't put Sam Franklin or Sean Chandler in the backfield. Because when they are both in the game
Mm-hmm.
together or one by themselves, especially in single high safety, it is Toast City. We saw all last year. We saw
Yeah.
Minnesota with KJ Osborne do it to him. We
Yep.
seen it with Mike Evans do it to him.
Yep.
Whenever we was in single high safety with one of those two safeties, especially Sean Chandler, it was over. It was over, done with. So I'm glad to see a little progression in his game throughout the summer and in preseason. So I ain't tripping about that one. With the cornerbacks, listen, we had a whole hockey team of cornerbacks preseason in the training camp. And to only dwindle the list down to 5, I can respect it. Don't get me wrong. Because if they're not worth being here, they just not worth being here. If you had to cut your room from 15 to 5, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Don't keep anybody around that you don't feel like is worth being around. With that being said, why were the other 10 here in the first damn beginning? That's my question. Like
I
they
know why
they
they were here.
training camp bodies, training
Mm-mm.
camp bodies. That's the only thing I can think of. What?
Mm-mm. Let me tell
Oh, you
you.
say you don't know?
No, I said I do know. They were trying to find somebody to replace CJ Henderson there, but I guess all of them ended up being trash too.
Yeah, but as far as the cornerbacks and my Achilles heel, just like what you mentioned, CJ, and I think that's what is on everybody's mind in Panther Nation. Can J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson stay healthy for a full season? That's what I would like to see. If those two can stay healthy for a full season, and CJ Henderson can step in and show the glimpses that he showed throughout training camp that garnered him some praise or whatnot, and if Deshaun Jameson and Troy Hill can step up and provide quality depth, I think we'll be all right. But I still think we need at least one or two more veteran corners added to
Indeed.
that room.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we still need one or two corners added to that room just in case, because you never know.
Mhm.
Like
Oh yeah.
when there's another tight end position, that position is going to come open with Steven Sullivan on IR. If Henry Anderson is done for the year, that's another spot on the 53-man roster. Because I think right now, currently, we're only at 52. As we
Mhm.
speak right now, we're only at 52. So there is an open slot. But
Yeah.
that cornerback room and that defensive line room needs to be addressed. Point blank, period.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna put the link in the so we what special
We
teams,
got one
everybody
more.
know. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
more. Okay, go
We'll
ahead.
go with special team. Yeah. Everybody know who they are. JJ
Yeah.
Jansen, Johnny Hecker, and Fast Eddie Pinero. That is CJ's
I knew
homeboy.
I said that wrong. Yeah, Fast Eddie Pinero. I
Fast
said
Eddie
slick the other
Pinero.
day.
But
Look,
yeah,
hey,
ain't
he
nothing.
look like he just got taking his third grade picture. Look at-
Go ahead. Go ahead, man. But yeah, ain't nothing changed there. It is what it is. I think we have a very solid special teams group that's
Oh
going
yeah.
to carry us throughout the year and be definitely be beneficial for us.
Okay. All right.
All
Tony,
right.
now before I drop this link, I'm gonna get a couple comments. Rock Jones.
Okay.
Rock Jones. Rock Jones. Rock Jones. Rock Jones. I was feeling you all the way till you said this here. No, sir. Not at all. Tar Heels
Oh,
all day,
I
baby.
know he lying. I know
All
he
day.
lying. I
Great
know
day to
he
be a
ain't
Tar
coming here
Heel,
with
baby.
that.
All right. I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Back to Panther football. I'm sorry. Let me put a few more of these up. DJ
I didn't
Henderson
even see that
hopefully will
comment.
get
That's
outplayed.
blasphemy.
Yeah,
That
hopefully
is
Troy Hill
blasphemy.
will chin everywhere on our defense. He probably will be.
He
He
will be.
says Xavier Woods can be replaced.
No, he can't.
Nah, not right now. No, not right now. Rock say y'all make me nervous talking about corners. Yeah, please pray. Well, I
You
mean,
should be.
Rock, I'm Rock. We just speaking facts. We're just speaking
Hey,
facts. If it's one
hey,
thing
you
on this
should be
episode,
nervous.
yeah, if one thing on this episode I can say with certainty, is that we are in trouble if our starting cornerbacks get hurt. That's one thing I can say for sure. All right. So Eric Rowe should be off here and QB over Jameson or Stanley Thomas Oliver. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Eric Rowe kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, that surprised
And
me because I just knew for sure he was gonna be our starting nickel
I
corner.
yes. Dan Franklin's a good special team. Yes. That your
Yes,
heart
he is.
and will can't be measured. Right about that. I think that's
That's
when we was
right.
talking about Jamie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I put I'm glad Keith Taylor got cut. Yeah, man. He wasn't one I was mad that got let go of either. Panthers needed true
Right.
slot cornerback. Facts. He said forgot
Yep.
about Hill. He's a good one. Cameron Douglas said Eric Rowe again. A plus on special teams. Yeah, I think special teams would be
You
good.
skip. You skip. You skip Paul Mancini.
Oh, sure did. I hope
Yeah.
Panthers trade CJ and maybe get a fifth round in return. Man, I doubt that. Hey Paul,
I think it's
remember
too
when
late for that.
remember when I was saying in the other video the other day about Matt Corral and maybe they traded him and didn't get any compensation back for him, and you told me you was like he has no trade value. I say the same thing about CJ Henderson. Let me tell you, the tape that he's put out, yeah, he would have to come out and show just some godly flashes in the first few games for somebody to offer us more than a seventh round, conditional pick for CJ Henderson. But yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's
Yes,
also
sir.
said Eagles defensive end Derek Barnett is available by trade and wants to be out, have more of a chance to play start. What do you guys think, D Barrett? who was a former first rounder out of Tennessee.
But I think we're good right now. I think we're good right now in the outside linebacker position. Um, if he plays more of a defensive end, I can see it because by Henry Anderson being out for the year, I can see a need at defensive end. I can see that need, but what is the value? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like last time I checked, I think his last contract negotiation, I don't know exactly what he was asking for, what he got, but he wasn't asking for no chump change. But
Yeah.
it will only make sense if the value was there. And I think right now the main focus is Carolina signing Brian Burns, and I hope that gets done before next Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. So let's go. Cameron Duck. That's right. Tar Heels, baby. Eric Rose a bit too slow for me. Eh? Yeah. Well, we'll see.
yeah.
Rock Jones said we coming for the wine and cheese crowd. Oh yeah, we know. We love to talk a little junk. He said the only reason that CJ has any value is the fact that he plays outside cornerback, which so many teams around the NFL are desperate to find them. Well, hey, I'm desperate to get rid of. My God, if anybody be dumb enough to trade for his ass, hey, Fitty, make it happen, please.
Make it happen. And
Make it happen,
this
Captain.
is the last year. This is the last year of his contract because we didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So he would definitely have a lot to prove and hopefully create
Mhm.
some trade value for himself. So
Yeah.
hey, that'd be a
Oh,
win-win
and
for us.
exactly. Oh, and the link is in the chat if anybody wants to come on and chop it up with us for a few minutes here. I'll pin the link in the chat. All right, let me see. Sideburn. Oh no, 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 no,
Not
no,
another one.
no,
Where in
no.
the hell
Okay.
all these Gamecock fans coming from, man?
I mean, hey, two states, one team. You know they're here. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
we got some
yeah,
Duke fans in here somewhere too.
yeah, yeah.
Burns won't sign to Nick Bosa sign with the 49 and resets the market. You know what? This
I
is
think that's
true,
a mistake.
uh, but the
I
thing
think I
is
say that.
though,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
I think it's a mistake if his mindset is if Nick Bosa signs for $31 million a year. I don't know what the overall number would be, but just say it comes out average 31 million. Because I'm pretty sure he wants to get something a little higher than Aaron Donald. Okay. But
Mhm.
just say 30. Let's just call it 30. Brian Burns, you're not going to. I wouldn't. Let's say that I wouldn't pay Brian Burns 31. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to pay him more than what Nick Bosa and Aaron Donald is playing. Yeah, I mean, is making. So
Mhm.
I think you can easily price yourself out of a negotiation if you feel that's what it's going to be. Now, if you can just go ahead and create a lane for yourself and be honest with yourself about what your true value is, that's one thing. But if you're waiting on Nick Bosa to sign a contract and then you think you're going to get a 5% bump above what Nick Bosa makes,
Probably
I
not.
don't think that's good business.
Come
I don't
on,
think that's
Tony.
good business, and I don't think that'll get it done.
Come on,
Wiley,
Tony. What's
how you
up,
doing,
Doc?
Wiley?
I'm doing pretty good. Tony out here talking sideways right now, man. Talking about Brian
Why
Burns.
I'm talking? Why I'm talking sideways? How am I talking sideways? Why?
Because I don't think he's trying to go over Bosa, but Bosa's going to reset the market and he'll go below Bosa but above the other guys. I think the
But
market is around
that's
20. Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Now, what I'm saying is that's the only way he's going to be able to say he need to make more money than the other defensive outside linebacker slash defensive ends.
Right.
Because
No, I
that's
go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
My bad. No, my
Mm-mm,
bad.
go
I thought you would stop. My bad. Go ahead.
I'm finished. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying if that was the case. I don't think it is, but if that's the case and he's thinking that he can get more than Nick Bosa, then that would be a mistake. I'm thinking, why wait on Nick Bosa, who can eventually be a holdout?
Mm,
If you saying that that you want to be a part of this team, you didn't sit out preseason, training camp,
mhm.
in any of that. Go ahead and create your own lane. Know what your value is. You don't need Nick Bosa to help you set your value or create your value. If you already know what Harold Landry and these other defensive ends have already gotten, then that's a starting point for you to begin your negotiations. I don't think he has to wait on Nick Bosa. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think the team already offered him probably that around that. I don't know the number, but I'm quite sure you know, they should have offered him that type of money. But I wouldn't sign it. I would wait because if the new high is, $5 million more than the current guys, that means I could possibly get
Mhm.
2 million above the current guy or three.
Mm.
It just, you know, it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Well, one
Negotiation
I
thing
like what
I'm
Paul
is about,
Mancini
yeah.
said right there.
What's that?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
yeah,
like he gonna get right below Bosa.
Yeah,
I can see that.
but Bo's a
I don't think
number.
he's
We
gonna
don't know what that number
I don't
is
think he's
though.
gonna hang.
Yeah.
Right? No, we don't.
True.
We don't.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I will say is this though. I'm glad he still showed up to camp, and I'm glad he is going to play. Now,
Yeah, no doubt.
with that being said, now the Panthers need to go ahead and do what they need to do to get this man signed. You know, 'cause
No
he could
doubt.
have easily held out. He could have easily been like, "Nah, I ain't doing this." He's here. He's ready to play. So Carolina, it's on you. Yep.
I agree. I agree.
Hey, Wiley, let me ask you this, man. I'm kind of transition here. Um, I forgot who it was. I think it was somebody from NFL.com. So they had the rankings of the best wide receiver one, running back one, and quarterback trios in NFL. So they had the Panthers ranked dead last at number 32. Okay. So what do you think about that? Did it? All right. Well, Tony,
Hey
go ahead.
Wally, if you're
I
talking, you got your mic on. You there,
go ahead.
Wally?
What Tony, go ahead and get your thoughts on it so you get straight.
Okay. Um, I think they batshit crazy. And I can't remember the reporter's name, but when I read it, so you what they said from what I seen, it was funny because you had not only C.J. Henderson with Nico Collins as the wide receiver and
Yeah.
Damian Pierce as the running back, you had them over Bryce Young, Miles Sanders, and Adam Thielen. Then on top of that, you had Anthony Richardson higher than C.J. Stroud. You had
Yes.
Indian.
Come on, y'all. Well, give my cousin a second here. Back in here. Maybe hit the wrong button or not. But let me go through some more of these comments here. Um, the Paul Mancini says Eagles with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and running back Swift. If he ever stays healthy, be a good trio. Yes, it would be, Paul. Yes, it would be. That would be a good trio. But like you said, the question is, will running back DeAndre Swift stay healthy? Okay. That definitely is the the question, right? But like Tony was saying before, what got me was they had CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, and Damian Pierce above us. Okay. Now with I'm not Nico Collins, but Damian Pierce, you can kind of argue they were talking about how he got 800 and something of his 900 yards after contact, because the Houston's offensive line wasn't, particularly great. But even still though, Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, and then I would definitely take Adam Thielen over Nico Collins. And if we're going by what they've done in the past, I would definitely take Miles Sanders over Damian Pierce. So, we'll see. Now Paul said Jets with Rodgers, wide receiver Garrett Wilson, running back Dalvin Cook is a strong trio also. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You get no arguments out of me on that one. Absolutely none. Tampa Bay Bucks and Colts are the worst group. Bucks with Mayfield, yes. Unhappy Michael Evans and whoever is their running back. Yeah, I think it's Rashad White. I think Rashad White is their running back. So you got Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Rashad White. So basically, hold on here. All right, there we go.
Did I get kicked off? I was there. I was talking and talking.
I know it. I knew it. I knew. I bet you was over there just blah 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 blah.
Yeah, my
But,
bad.
but
I did not realize.
then
I
no,
did
you
not
you
realize.
good.
My bad, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I just looked and then you were gone, and then I was trying to make sure I went to the to the stream over here, and I was like, nah, that's still me on there because I thought maybe
Yeah,
I got kicked off. But
yeah. I was on one.
I mean, hey, let me tell you, I know you were. In my head, I thought I said he's still over there talking. He ain't even realize he ain't on
Oh
there no
my
more.
god. Yeah.
But we still talking about the wide receiver, quarterback, running back rankings. But now you was go ahead. You was talking about Houston, I think.
Yeah, basically what I was saying was like, okay, you got Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, Miles Sanders at number 32. Then you had right above them at 31, you had CJ Stroud, Damian Pierce, and Nico Collins as the wide receiver for Houston. But then at 27, you had Anthony Richardson. I don't remember who's gonna be the starting running back because Jonathan Taylor is
Deion
sitting out.
Jackson.
Or Deion Jackson, and then Michael
Mm-hmm.
Pittman Jr. as wide receivers. So,
Mm-hmm.
like what I was saying was people act as if Miles Sanders wasn't a Pro Bowler last year. They act like he wasn't the fifth leading rusher in the NFL last year. They act like he didn't score 13 touchdowns last year. I don't give a damn if he ran behind the Great Wall of China. Those was his numbers. That's what he produced. You can't take that away from him. You know what I mean? Adam Thielen, even though he was the number 2 wide receiver in Minnesota, a solid number 2. He still gave you almost 800 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. Those are great numbers for a wide receiver too in the NFL. I don't know if
Indeed.
anybody ever noticed, pay attention, but those are solid numbers for a number 2 wide receiver. So when you
Mhm.
factor all that in and you add all up, even if you want to say, okay, well, Bryce Young ain't never threw a pass in NFL, we don't know what he can be. We don't know what he can do. There's no tape on him. I give you that. Well, we can say the same thing about CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. They're in the same boat, same predicament. So what
Mhm.
tape do you have to evaluate that gives you the indication that those two quarterbacks, along with the receivers and running back that they have, will be better than Bryce Young, Miles Sanders, and Adam Thielen? Like I
Yeah.
said, y'all didn't hear me, but I said it again. I call bullshit on it, clickbait, whatever you want to call it. It don't make no sense to me. And it sounds like somebody that don't know shit about football, and all they try to do is base stuff off analytics. Well, that
Yeah.
stuff can only take you so far.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Your
That's like
tape, your tape is your tape.
yeah. That's kind of like they got Atlanta above us too. Now, mind you, like you said, Bijan Robinson. Probably gonna be a great player, but he ain't done a damn thing in the league yet.
Right. Not
You
one
know what I
thing.
mean? Now, mind you, when we talking about Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud versus Anthony Richardson, you know, I put Bryce Young at the top based on what he has done previously, in college. I know this is the NFL. This would be a lot different. I can't sit now, mind you, Bryce Young versus Desmond Ritter. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and try to give that same argument because Desmond Ritter does have a little bit of NFL tape. Bryce Young doesn't. Now I can sit here
Right.
and feel that way that I think Bryce Young will be better. But if I'm not trying to contradict myself with my last argument, I wouldn't do that because he has no tape. Okay. But then you got
Right.
Bijan Robinson who has no tape, and then you got Drake London. Um, you know, Drake London is okay. He's not a world beater. Um, if you want to go on numbers, yeah, he had a better season than Adam Thielen, as far as yards go. Mm. But now just me and my feelings, I would put us above Atlanta too, but definitely above the Colts, definitely above the Texans. I would put them above Atlanta. I'm not going to say that we should be in like the top 20, but we damn sure shouldn't be dead last. It's
Right.
it's another one of those
Facts.
disrespect is real type of situations.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Disrespect is real, like really real.
Is Wiley still there?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Okay.
You see, Paul says Miles Sanders is primed to have another great season this year after reuniting with running back coach Deuce Staley. Yes, I agree. I,
I
I, I
agree with that.
definitely agree. Panthers have
I
gotten
agree
no
with that.
respect around the NFL media all summer long. Facts, facts,
Facts.
absolute facts. Yep.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely,
Yeah, man.
definitely, definitely.
But one thing I can say, Tony, one thing I can say is this, my friend. We are officially a week closer, a week closer to football, NFL football. All right. And football in general is here, because if y'all notice, I keep turning to the side here. I keep trying to keep up with this Colorado TCU game, see what Coach Prime and the Buffaloes are doing out here. And
Yeah.
they're looking pretty good so far. They're looking
Yes,
pretty good.
sir.
But yeah, man. But go ahead and wrap this on up, Tone. You got anything else for the fans out here?
No, man. That would be it pretty much. Like I said, don't forget Tuesday, 5 p.m. We're going live again with Uncle Quan from Panthers Experience. That's gonna be a fun episode. Definitely got a chance to meet him while we was in training camp this year and at Fan Fest in Charlotte. You know, during the preseason. I'm sorry, during training camp, whatnot. So we got an opportunity to chop it up with him, meet him, and things like that. So we're looking forward to this episode, this live come Tuesday. That's September 5th. Don't forget to tune in. Uncle Quan Panthers Experience will be in the building.
Yes. And I'm going to say everything that I have already said in many of the videos previously. If you watch this, if you're currently watching and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Go out and check out some of my previous videos if you need any convincing. Okay. I hit that like
Right.
button, help us out with the algorithm. Turn on those post notification bells so you know when our videos come out. We appreciate all the love and support. And at the start of this video, we were at 797 subscribers. Okay, 797. I would love if we can get to 800 by the time the day is over with. My goal was to get to 1,000 before the season started. I
Still
still
the
think it's
goal. Still
possible.
the goal.
Yeah, it's still the goal.
That's right.
Still think it's possible. But as long as we can get to that number, and that number is important to us because we can start bringing stuff in and we can start doing more. We want to do giveaways. We want to be able to give back to everybody that has helped us, this thus far. We started this channel a year ago. Okay, we started this channel a
Yeah.
year ago, and it was just me and Tony talking on audio. And it's so funny because I can't get my cousin to go back and listen to some of our first recordings because he just doesn't want to do it. And to say that they were bad is an understatement. But you know what? We ain't know no better. But hey, look at us now. And I'm not saying we stocking the world or anything, but we've definitely come a long way. And we appreciate everybody out there that has helped us on this journey. We love all of you. And as always, well, before I say that, thank you, Diggy. We appreciate you too, buddy.
Yeah, thank you, Diggy.
But like I always say, y'all, keep pounding. All right.